Alright, in this video we're going to go ahead and talk about how to run the scenarios using Google Forms. The first thing you're going to want to do is make sure you are connected to the ASUS network. That way you can access your Google Forms on the Google Drive. After this, you want to go ahead and bring up the ethics scenario, which you'll have to have taken off the NipperNet prior to. Here you go ahead and display the QR code and the website, of which you can also email out if you'd like to have done that beforehand. Your students can use their phones to scan the QR scanner, or they can just type in their browsers on their computers the short URL address right there. Now once your students have gone to the actual link, a Google form will pop up in which they can select from different scenarios. You can pre-read the scenarios beforehand to decide which ones you actually want to cover. You may not have time to cover them all. In this case, you're going to go ahead and choose scenario 2 as the first scenario we're going to address as the class. So they select scenario 2, hit next, and then the actual scenario will pop up. Then go ahead and read through this scenario and decide what action they want to take by selecting the appropriate action and then clicking the submit button. Once submitted, you can go ahead and leave the students on this page and just tell them just stay there, not go anywhere else for now. While they are submitting their responses, you can be opening up the actual form and going into the responses tab and watch the responses come in. You'll have to scroll down to the actual scenario that you chose, in this case scenario 2, and we can just go ahead and sit there and wait until they come in and watch what the students pick. Here we have 13 responses already submitted. Over on the right side, an example of the 14th student submitting their response. In this case, the student does not agree with any of the possible answers. Therefore, the student selects Other and inputs his or her reasoning before clicking submit. Once submit is clicked, you can see how it automatically populates your screen on the left. You can now bring up and show this poll to use in your classroom discussion on the scenario. You could hone in on why 35.7% of the students selected to confront Pilot A and allow him to make a choice, or you could discuss the reasoning of the one student that selected the choice Other. Obviously, the poll allows you to direct your conversation in multiple directions. Once you feel it is time to move on, you can end the scenario discussion by going back to the PowerPoint and bring up the slide that discusses what actually happened in the scenario. Here might be a good time to reiterate anything discussed earlier or ask the students if they agree with the course of action taken given the new info. If you are ready to move on to another scenario, just have the students select Submit Another Response. Direct them to select the next scenario you'd like to discuss. From here, you'll repeat the process just described for scenario 2 for however many more scenarios you'd like to cover.